One natural disaster could change your life forever. What can you do? Turn to AARP. We help older adults and their families prepare, respond, and recover with evacuation checklists to help you remember prescriptions and other essentials, information to help you avoid scammers, connections to on-the-ground emergency responders, and lots of other tips and tools. At AARP, we're here to help. Find us at aarp.org/local.
Time, weather, and
Highways. How you doing, everybody? I'm Chief Meteorologist Denis Phillips. Heat's still the hot topic of weather conversation, right? Just smashed the previous record for rainfall in Tampa. Still a very nice day. We've got some clouds out there, even a couple of sprinkles as another front rolls through the area. Most of us wake up to sunshine and then very warm temperatures in the afternoon. For temperatures, they're going up and they're staying up. Really nice forecast, especially if you're planning on going to the beach or the pool. Rain chances very slim. It's another beautiful day in store. It's going to bring us a very high chance of storms. Isolated showers across the area. Mother Nature likes to remind us that it isn't set by a calendar. We're always on it for you, just in case things begin to pop.
Streaming from the ABC Action Weather Center in Studio A, this is Denis Phillips Live, sponsored by AARP Tampa Bay.
How you doing, everybody? It is a Thursday night edition of Denis Phillips Live. We have got a ton to talk about, starting with the fact that it is treat night here at ABC Action News. 29 years this tradition has been going on, dating back to when the station first started, November of 1994, which is an irony because the majority of the people in the newsroom right now were not even born in 1994. Go figure. But treat night has survived. It survived hurricanes, it survived COVID, it survived all sorts of nonsense, and we now have it continuing every Thursday night. I don't know whose treat night it is, but I look forward to it. So we have got, and I don't know if you saw this, but the QPF numbers just came out a couple minutes ago, and I just posted it. And for the folks who are asking me, what in the world are QPF numbers? Well, remember what I've been talking about for the last couple of days when you get low pressure developing in the Gulf and you get a frontal boundary that stalls in the Gulf of Mexico, and it is very, very common in the month of October for a low pressure to develop along that frontal boundary. Well, there is the rainfall projection Wednesday through Friday of next week. And you obviously see a rather impressive bullseye across Florida and across the northern Gulf Coast. That, my friends, is a tease. And we will get back to that. I have been accused of being a tease over the years at some point or another. And I am just teasing that, yes, there is the potential for something popping out in the Gulf middle toward the end of next week. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes. Before we do, let's do some hellos. Martha, and we have got, is it Thone? I think maybe Thone in Brooksville. We've got Monica in Hudson. We've got Valerie in Lakewood Ranch. How you doing, Lorraine? Nice to see you. Donna, good to see you as well. Audrey and Anna, Caitlin. We've got Sun City Center in the house with Gary. Largo's here with Chris. We've got Mary and Lillman, as always. How you doing, Mary? So Denise asked, is it going to rain next week? Did you read it correctly? The jury is still out. It is yet to be determined, but we will talk about why, in my opinion, the chances are going up. And you haven't really been hearing that. We've been talking about that, for the last 10 days? I mean, I'm not a climatologist by nature. I'm more of a meteorologist, where I think climatology, you look for trends. You don't base a specific forecast on climatology. You do that on meteorology, obviously. But in the month of October, in an El Nino year, with a couple of fronts setting up, everything seems to be coming together for increased rain chances toward the middle and end of next week for part of Florida. What part? Again, we'll have to see. But I will show you. Teresa, how you doing? It is spectacular. Yes, it is going to be spectacular on Sunday and Monday. So, Vivian, we will be having sweater weather on Monday morning. Wendy Ryan, who is really the key meteorological I monitor Wendy's turtleneck choice as part of our forecast. I will tell you, there's not a lot of meteorologists out there who base their forecast on whether or not their main anchor wears a turtleneck or not. We do, because I know the accuracy rate on that is something like 99.624%. So I'm just saying. Wendy is already ready to break out her turtleneck on Monday morning. Lakeland's in the house with Debbie. How you doing, Joanne and Hudson? Good to see you. Sandy in Tampa. The other Sandy as well. We've got Michelle in Madeira. So Spring Hill's in the house. Town and Country with Elizabeth. Lots and lots of folks. Largo with Susan. Lori in Spring Hill. Dunedin and Elisa. Howdy in St. Pete, Caitlin. Winter Haven, Debbie. Lots and lots of folks here. So, I figured we would just kind of jump into it. We also have tropical storm conditions are going to be impacting Maine, much like Lee did a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to start local. All right, we're going to start with our front coming through, and you can see it right here. All right. You see the front coming through. You see Philippe, which is going to go non-tropical, but in doing so, it is going to bring tropical storm force winds to the northeast. And the key to this forecast, and we've been saying this for a while, the key to this forecast is when a frontal boundary stalls out in the Gulf of Mexico in October, it is very, very common for low pressure to develop. So where is this coming from? This was released a couple of hours ago, I'm assuming. It's the QPF, the quantitative precipitation forecast. In other words, how much is it going to rain, right? And this is days 6 and 7. Well, this is days 6 through 7. This is next Wednesday and Thursday, or even Thursday into Friday, but Wednesday through Friday, actually, I guess it is. And as you see, the potential for rain across Florida and the northern Gulf Coast is very high. Why would that be? Well, pretty obvious. I'll take this full. It's exactly what we've been saying now for the last 10 days. All right? Soon is here for the single hot chicks. So I don't know who Soon is, but he's there for the single hot chicks. And you know what? All I got to tell you is that I am very pleased that you are embracing love, because The Golden Bachelor is on ABC tonight. I am proud to say I've never watched an episode of The Bachelor. However, this Golden Bachelor thing is taking something by storm. I don't know what it is, but I'm seeing commercials everywhere about the Golden Bachelor. And I'm just going to tell you that we have one person in this newsroom, and I'm not going to say who, one person in this newsroom who is not a fan of the whole concept of the Golden Bachelor. I think most people believe in love, no matter what the age is. So the Golden Bachelor apparently runs tonight. And remember the girl, Caitlin, who I work with here, who's my first day on the job here was the day she was born. It's a true story. My first day starting here, she was born that day, which really is so incredibly depressing on my end. But nevertheless, she loved the Golden Bachelor. She thought it was so cute. She believes in true love. There's someone out there in this newsroom who doesn't. I'm not going to ruin it for that person. So anyway, let's talk about the forecast. This is your friend and mine, #cha-ching, the GFS. This is the GFS for tomorrow morning. This is the GFS for Saturday morning. Where is my friend Sean? There's your 540 line, the freezing line over southern Ohio. All right? So you notice as the front comes through, don't look for any rain. That's Sunday morning. That's Monday morning. Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning. Now, look at what you start to see Wednesday morning. Look at what's out there in the Western Gulf, in the Bay of Campeche. That would be low pressure trying to develop along a stalled out front. It's almost like you've heard this somewhere before, like we've been harping on this for the last 10 days. As a matter of fact, there was a woman who, I posted something about it yesterday, and there was a woman who wrote on the post, "Give it up, the season's over." Her exact words, "Give it up, the season's over." I did not stir the pot. I just responded, "Give what up?" And the season isn't over. I'm telling you flat out, the season's not over, but whatever. Anyway, and I'm not happy or sad about it. I'm just telling you the season's not over because it's October, and for so many reasons, frontal boundaries stalling out, Pacific storms developing and spreading some moisture up, El Nino, so many reasons the season is not over. Let's get back to it. So there is a look at the GFS next Tuesday. Then you have Wednesday. You see that storm in the Pacific. The GFS brings a blob of rain into our area on Thursday. All right? Now you notice it's 1,000 millibars. That could very easily be a tropical depression. Of course, I'm expected to go to New Orleans on Thursday for my son's wedding. I am hopeful that this, whatever it is, gets in and out before then. But, you know, it's 1,000 millibars. It's a depression, maybe a tropical storm, right? Well, and that is, let me verify the date and time. That is the 12th. So that is Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. That is Wednesday night at 8 p.m. All right? There's your GFS. What does the Euro show? Oh, now, this is very, very common with what has been happening most of the season. The GFS has been faster and weaker. The Euro has been slower and stronger. So here, thank you very much, Sandy. Here you have the Euro next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock with a depression or potentially a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is 6 days out. A lot of times you won't hear me talking about stuff this far out because the majority of the time it's not right. I am talking about it this time because I think we are looking at development in the Gulf next week. I do. Now, are we talking about just a blob of rain or an organized system? Don't know. But I do believe moisture will stream up from the Pacific, frontal boundary sits there, weak low pressure tries to develop and lifts northeastward. Sheared environment, probably not anything significant in development, but could be a decent rainmaker for part of the state. I believe that's going to happen. So that's why I'm talking about it. I'm not going to step out on that limb 6 days out and say, oh, we're definitely going to get, no. But I've been saying this for a week, and then all of a sudden when I see the QPF map come up with a good 3 inches of rain, now granted, it's the same QPF map that last week had 3 inches of rain, we got nothing. So you take it with a grain of salt, but it's a weather chat, so I wanted to go over it. But anyway, as we get back to the Euro, all right, and I'm telling you, by the way, I am going to wear suspenders to the wedding. I am telling you, if I go to New Orleans, and we talked about this yesterday, I am going to do a DPL from Bourbon Street next week, either Thursday or Friday. There is no way they're going to stop me from doing a DPL in the French Quarter. It's going to happen. I don't know what it will look like, but I will be doing that. So there will be, and it might even be at 2 a.m. You might get a notification at 2 a.m. Dennis Phillips is live. Like, what? What, is it bad weather? No. He's wandering around Bourbon Street aimlessly. That could happen. That probably will happen. Anyway, that's next Thursday. Let's get back. So this is next Thursday. And the Euro, obviously, is slower and stronger, bringing a 900, it looks like it was a 990. So again, it's a tropical depression or a tropical storm, but it is a significant potential rainmaker. And whether or not that's the Panhandle, whether or not that's our area, who knows? But the point is, in my opinion, I believe that there will be a moisture surge lifting north. Whether or not we even really have any kind of development, who knows? But the rain chances will increase. All right, that is next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, if this were to play out like this, would we have any issues with delays on travel? We would not. So for all the folks who are already asking about, am I going to have any problem getting out of here or flying out? No, it's not like that at this point. It's something we need, which is rain. And oh, by the way, there's another front behind that one that'll probably stall out. And we're going to get another wave of moisture coming through the following week. So cannot say this enough. October, this is the norm. So to say that it's expected to be dry for the rest of this month, I think is incorrect. Everything is setting up for some decent rainfall totals for the state, and hopefully for us, because man, we need it. All right, so let's get back to it. So let's go ahead and look at what's after that. The Euro brings the next front on day 10, and look what we have again in the Western Gulf. It pops again because you have a stalled out front and development along that front. I mean, folks, this is basic meteorology here. It just happens all the time, and usually what happens is it's a rapidly moving system brought on by a northeast motion rather, southwest flow out ahead of a front, and you get quite often a ragged system as a rainmaker moving into Florida. So there's the potential in the next 2 weeks to have two systems move in with some rain, and that is a good thing. All right. So I'm going to go through one more time. I'm going to go ahead and loop the the GFS for you. Here's the GFS. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, out of here. Then it brings us another front through. The second front comes in, moves south, brings in another cool snap, front stalls out, and you get low pressure developing again along this front. I mean, it just makes sense, okay? So here's the Euro, all right? Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, low pressure starts to develop. There it is, moves across the Gulf, brings rain somewhere in that Florida area. Next front comes in. Nice little storm in the mid-Atlantic to the northeast. That's like a nor'easter, by the way, more than anything. Front stalls out, and you start to see development again in the Western Gulf. I mean, it is the way. This is the way. So there you have it. Now, do want to mention this. So there's the rainfall. This just came out a little while ago. This is the rainfall days 6 and 7, Wednesday through Friday. Actually, it's Tuesday through Thursday night. I take that back. And hopefully we get some of this because we need it. All right? Now, we showed you this before. This makes sense. Western Gulf, Eastern Pacific. Certainly possible. And then the following week, same thing. Stalled out front, Bay of Campeche, lifting northeast. Like clockwork. Now, We've already showed you this map. There's nothing unusual about development in the Gulf this time of the year. And matter of fact, dare I say it's more the norm. Right in there. Northern Caribbean, Bay of Campeche. Bay of Campeche. This is October 21st to 31st. On the anniversary of the last major hurricane to hit the Bay Area directly. So, now, let's talk about Philippe. For folks in the Northeast, this looks awfully familiar, doesn't it? Doesn't it look exactly like Lee? It certainly does. Because it looks like there will be tropical storm force winds yet again in the coastal sections of Maine and into Nova Scotia. This is the most likely time where tropical storm force winds will arrive. Saturday night into Sunday, this is Philippe, which will become non-tropical and more of a nor'easter yet again. So what have we been preaching for months now? We have been preaching that in an El Nino pattern, it is far more common to get an active subtropical jet, which can cause these systems to develop off the mid-Atlantic. Not this one, the one behind it, which is what the Euro is showing, 10 days out. Or the southern stream, increase development potential for the Gulf as you go into winter. So, did I say identical? Identical. I don't even remember saying it, but I must have. You guys all picked up on it, and I don't even remember saying it. I'm losing my mind. All right, so anyway, point being, even though we are done with the rainy season, which we are, the rainy season is over for our area. But with El Nino, it is not only is it common to get rain in the wintertime, it's more common to actually get more severe weather because that subtropical jet is far more active and is more likely to enhance development. So, oh, you guys said identical. Okay. I didn't even remember saying it. Yeah, you know what? You're exactly right, Lisa. What rainy season? We haven't had one. It has been the rainy season that has not been the rainy season. So let's talk about what's coming Sunday and Monday, shall we? Pouring in Starkey Ranch. Oh, I did say it. Now I'm really confused, Mary. All right, tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. By the way, my friends, it will not be cold on Saturday. Saturday is going to be warm. Saturday is going to be warm. Saturday night, temperatures start to drop. Sunday night, Monday is when we start to see the drop in temperatures. Oh, I said it during weather. So Linnea wants to know what it means in the winter there could be strong storms. It just means that when you have low pressure developing across the southern stream, whether it's the Gulf or the deep south, the jet often enhances the intensity of the storms and they can get severe. So we have more severe storms in El Nino in the southeast. That's what that means. All right, so here is Saturday morning. Here's Sunday morning. You start to see the cool air Sunday in Citrus and Hernando County, but probably not for most of us. We're still low 60s, low to mid 60s, still comfortable, even some upper 50s in our northern counties, but the much cooler air arrives on Monday morning. So you notice high temperatures around 81, 82, 83. And if you were watching on TV, which apparently a few of you do, a couple of days ago I was talking about this. The models are always overzealous in forecasting cold early in the season, a week out. They go overboard, and then they start to back off as we get closer to the event, and that's what's happening right now. They were starting 80, now they're more 83, 84. I think we're going to end up 84-ish. So, anyway, I was about to talk about people who always bash the weather people and the accuracy rate, but you know what, whatever, it's just not even worth it. So there is a look at Sunday afternoon. Here we go to Monday morning. The 9th. Is that Monday? Yes. Monday morning. So you see 50s and low 60s. And highs back in the low to mid 80s. So, for those 2 days, Sunday morning and Monday morning, you will see cooler weather. Emily, how you doing? Emily, I went to look, all right, I shouldn't admit it, but I'm going to. You guys, I'm a bargain shopper. I got 6 kids. I got to be a bargain shopper. I went to Sam's last week, and they had giant pumpkins for $7. Now, I like to go to the pumpkin patches and support the local charities, and we still probably will end up doing it and all. But when I went to Sam's, I mean, I got about 4 of them. Big pumpkins for $6.97 or $7.97 a piece. You just can't go wrong with that. I worry that they won't last until Halloween, but anyway. So now, good point. Pinellas, if you live along the coast, you're not going to be as cool right along the coast. It's a very good point. Who was that? That was Angie. Very, very good point. Because the water temperature is still in the low 80s. So it's going to be significantly warmer right along the coast. But if you're inland, and we're talking like 5 miles inland, you're going to be far enough away that you're going to be significantly cooler. Raining in Odessa right now. All right, you know what? Let's look at radar. Let's look well, there's radar behind me, isn't there? But here, we'll look at it anyway. By the way, we got football tonight. I was going to talk about the Rays because you guys really do. You know, you guys follow the Rays a lot. And I have my opinion about that. And it's not necessarily a good opinion for the Rays, but I think it's accurate. Rays are a Moneyball team. You guys know this. The Rays are a Moneyball team. They have to be. They don't bring in the revenue that the larger markets do. Moneyball teams are very successful in the regular season. They play statistics over a prolonged period of time. And in the long run, those statistics usually prove fruitful. And they prove to be winning. But in a short series, a 3-game series, teams of that nature have not shown to be a tremendously successful formula. Especially when you've got half your team injured as it is. I mean, the Rays' top 3 starters were out for the year months ago. You lost Luke Raley. You lost Brandon Lau. You lost Wander Franco. I mean, you have some of the better hitters on that team were gone, and you could read the writing on the wall. You just could. They had a great regular season, 99 wins, but you just had a feeling they were stumbling into the playoffs. And again, in a short series, sabermetrics is just not something that has shown historically it's capable of being successful in those short series. Loki premieres tonight, Bridget. I saw that. I've read the reviews. They're kind of lukewarm. I was a big fan of the first season, so we will see. And Bill, you're right. I mean, it's like anything. You go into the playoffs on a hot streak, that hot streak can continue. It's just like a hot goalie in hockey. You get a hot goalie going into the playoffs, they can take you to the Stanley Cup. The Rays were stumbling in many ways, going, even though they won 12-8 their last regular season game and whatnot, but they weren't playing their best ball, and injuries really, I mean, losing Raley, losing Siri, even though Siri came back. I mean, here's the bottom line. The Rays had pinch hitters who were 20 years old, who have great prospects and are going to be good in the future, but they were pinch hitting in an important time in that game with the series on the line, with the season on the line, with the kid who's maybe only had 10 at-bats the entire season. So that shows you how desperate they were. I mean, they had nobody else to turn to. So that's just the way that it played out. So now we're getting hockey scores. So, yeah, the national media was bashing. They do. It's just what they do. And you know what? They had 19,000 at the game. Some of that bashing is warranted. I get it, 3 o'clock start during the middle of the week. I know all of it. But I think some of that was justifiably. So anyway, Watching on our streaming app, thank you for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday. I'm going to continue on Facebook to answer a few questions. You have a great night and a great weekend. Enjoy the cool front. Okay, so the streamers are gone. If you're heading to a fall, the weather will not be cool on Saturday, Dory. The weather will still be warm, but you should be okay. Yeah, the Orioles are what the Rays were 10 years ago. The Orioles have but here's the thing about the Orioles. Everybody's like, oh, where'd the Orioles come from? The Orioles have been gathering great draft picks for the last decade because they've been terrible for the last decade. I grew up a Baltimore Orioles fan. They were my team. In fact, they were my team until I moved to Tampa. So I have followed the Orioles all my life. Matter of fact, I'll tell you a great story. Opening day, the Orioles game, I was working in Salisbury, Maryland, and I was covered because back when you're in small markets, you wear lots of hats. And I got to shoot some sports, shoot high school football, while I was the chief meteorologist and the night beat reporter. How about that? So anyway, it was opening day. I was at Memorial Stadium, and I had a camera, and I was on the catwalk overlooking first base side where the camera people would sit. We were on the second level. And the first batter in the bottom of the first inning on opening day, Ken Gerhardt, was the leadoff hitter for the Orioles. And he hit a looping foul ball to me. I was a ball player in my younger age, and I was a decent ball player all the way through college. So it's coming right to me, right? And I'm at the railing, and I'm on the second story, if you will. So I was a little hesitant to lean over, but not too hesitant. So I leaned over to catch the ball. It was a can of corn. It was the easiest catch in the world. And it hit my hand and fell off. And the entire stadium booed me. And the announcer said, give that fan an error. Now, if you're an Orioles fan and you know, whenever you make a good catch, they say, give that fan a contract. But in my case, they gave me an error, and the entire stadium booed me. So I have a history with the Orioles. Well, heck, I have a history with the Baltimore Colts. You want to know why I will never use Mayflower Moving Company? You guys know that if you're a Baltimore Colts fan or an NFL fan, because Mayflower moved my beloved Baltimore Colts out of Baltimore in the middle of the night during a snowstorm to Indianapolis. And I was so bitter and so devastated that I will never use Mayflower Moving Company because of that. I know, it's twisted, but that is how adamant of a Baltimore Colts fan I was. So anyway, as an Orioles fan all my life pretty much, having gone to Brooks Robinson baseball camps, having known Cal Ripken Jr. and his brother Billy Ripken, I grew up an O's fan. The O's have been stockpiling draft choices forever. In my opinion, they don't have the seasoning to win this thing, but they got a lot of talent, and they're playing good ball. But you got to, as much as it pains me to say this, if I were to predict who's going to win the AL, I'll still go with the Houston Astros because they've been there. You know, they've been there. And I strongly dislike the Houston Astros for a number of reasons. Clearly, one, the scandal that happened. Now, the National League is interesting. The Phillies have been playing really good ball. They're kind of peaking at the right time. I mean, the Dodgers are obviously exceptional. You know, I don't know. Based on what I'm seeing, I would go Dodgers. Dodgers probably will win, but I would go Phillies and Astros in the World Series. That is my prediction. So, anyway, 10-day forecast for Beaver Stadium homecoming. Yes, against UMass. Don't know. Have not looked at the 10-day forecast for State College. Wish I could be there, though. We used to go up every year for homecoming. And you have to reserve a hotel a year in advance. And I used to stay at the Hilton Garden Inn on University Avenue right there near the stadium. But one year we went, and we could not get tickets to the game. We literally climbed a tree. It's a true story. So we could not get, they were playing Michigan. Could not get a ticket. And I brought all my 6 kids. I brought 5 kids. Ryan wasn't born at the time. And I'm figuring I can get tickets. 110,000 seats. You can get tickets, right? Could not get tickets. I was willing to pay whatever. Could not get tickets. So we flew up. We had the hotel. Could not go to the game. So what did we do? We climbed a tree outside the stadium. The kids climbed a tree, and they had little radios that they were selling to listen to the game on the radio because this was pre-mobile phone days. And they watched the Jumbotron outside the stadium while they heard the game on the radio, while they were climbing the tree. And then at halftime, we walked to the creamery, got ice cream, and then came back and climbed the tree again. And you know what? The kids will remember that game a heck of a lot more than they would have remembered great seats inside that stadium. Guaranteed. So that's what we did. And I haven't gone back since, because that was a fun time. But once you give up your hotel, you'll never get it again. And we couldn't go the next year, and then you just can't get tickets. I mean, now they have Airbnbs, but maybe we could go back. I want to go to a whiteout. On my bucket list, that is maybe one of the only things left on my bucket list, to go to a whiteout. And a whiteout is when all of Beaver Stadium wears white. It's really the real first original whiteout stadium of all of college football. And you get 110,000 people in a nighttime game, and they're all wearing white, and it's insane. I've watched it on TV, but I've never been able to go. And I really, really want to go, like desperately want to go. So hopefully I'll be able to at some point. Okay, so let us see. Oh yeah, we got off of weather. Go figure, shocker there. So let's look and see what's rain's going on out there. We still have some showers. Hernando County, Spring Hill back toward southwestern Citrus County. There's that shower in Odessa, Denise. There you go. There's your Odessa rain, Denise. And it's heading to Trinity. And then that looks like that's about it. Loretta got hit by a puck at an Islanders game. All right. Oh, he's on your bench? Yeah, he probably will have a good game. I got a good story about that. So I was at a Providence Bruins game. It's the minor league club for the Boston Bruins. And I was working in Providence. I worked in Providence for 6 months before I went to Los Angeles. And we were at a Providence Bruins game, and I was with my buddy. And we were sitting there, and this was before they had nets to protect you, right? And it was at the Providence Civic Center. And I'm sitting there, and he's sitting there, and a puck came up, and it caught him right in the throat, right? And the puck hit him and went down on the ground. And I saw it. And I immediately grabbed the puck. And was I thinking about my buddy who got hit in the throat with the puck? I'm like, no. Look, I got the pucks. I'm like, yes. Everybody's, because everybody's, yeah. And my buddy's like, ah. He was okay. And afterwards, it took me about 30 seconds, and I'm like, oh, man, I kind of feel bad now. So I gave him the puck. So that was my experience of, Sean. And I'm seeing the comments. We've already talked about the weather, and we're kind of going all over the place. So anyway, my buddy got the puck and a bruise. He had a bruised larynx, but he was okay. And that's about it. Thank you very much, Jeannie. I appreciate it. Very, very kind. So there we go. Let's recap, shall we? The rain out there right now. All right? The temperatures this weekend, 50s and 60s. Sunday and Monday morning, Pasco County north. Low 60s elsewhere. Okay? Then, next week, where's the map? There it is. Next week, the models are now showing this swath of moisture moving across the state. And as you remember, we have been talking about this for a week and a half. And looks to me like it's going to happen. What is that happening, you ask? All right. Low pressure develops in the Gulf along a stalled out front. Monday, Tuesday, and moves this way. That's the Euro. The Euro is more aggressive and slower than the GFS. The GFS also shows it, but not nearly as heavy. Okay? But for Sean, look at your 540 line, my friend. There's your 540 line. Making it as far south as West Virginia and Kentucky. And then lifting northeast. The Euro also develops that after that low moves through, you get another front and another area of development off the mid-Atlantic. So both the GFS and the Euro show a very, very active stretch, day 7 to 10, Euro GFS, Euro GFS, Euro GFS. With development in the Gulf, traveling along the stalled front, and bringing rain to the state of Florida. Jules, you're watching preseason hockey. Okay. And he gave an exclamation point because Cooch got a goal. It's funny. Okay, I do not get excited for preseason hockey. That is not a hurricane, but it is a rainmaker, which is why the climate right here, why actually it's the WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, is going with significant rain potential next Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday. All right? You know what, John? So did I. The Capitals, the Hershey Bears, won the Calder Cup, I believe. Was that what it was called? I watched that game as well because it went overtime. If that's the one I'm thinking of. This was like 3 months ago, maybe? I think it's called the Calder Cup. Area and Atlantic. Yes, Gary, as we were saying earlier, the area in the Atlantic. There's a look at winds. All right. This is a look at where tropical storm force winds will approach coastal New England Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, that backup goalie. I don't know, Lisa. Can you flash the week's forecast for us? Sure, Alyssa. Sure thing. You know what? I'm here for you guys. I'll throw a story in from time to time. But ultimately, I'm here for you. Here it is. Here's the 7-day. Now, you notice the rain chances increasing Wednesday and Thursday. I suspect those chances could be a little bit higher, but it's a week out, so, I'm not going to go crazy. The 540 line is the freezing line. It's all it is. The 540 line is usually the rain-snow line. It's the freezing line. What approximate temperatures will the lakes and Lutz start to be by the end of October? The lakes in Lutz. I like the alliteration. The lakes in Lutz in the 70s. I'm looking for any questions that I may have missed. Hey, the football game's about on. I got to go watch that. Let me see. Is that everything? I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Halloween tour. Ryan had softball practice today, and it's karaoke night. So the tour will be on Tuesday. Wait a minute. She has a game on Tuesday, I think. Might not be next week unless I had a DPL on Monday. Now, I will tell you, if this system is expected to develop and we're looking at potential issues with weather, then I will do a DPL on Monday because I always do DPLs if there's real weather going on. And then Ryan could give a tour. If not, I'm off for my son's wedding next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So it would be the following week that I would have to give the tour of the Halloween decorations and the music and the lights and everything. But yeah, Ryan has karaoke tonight, and she's serious. She is serious about karaoke. I mean, she just sits up there. It's like those movies where you get somebody that's in a bar at 2 a.m. and they just sit there and they just keep singing over and over again. That is Ryan. Paula, how you doing? Good to see you. You do the same, Jeanette. So I guess that's it. Have a great night, guys. Be back on Tuesday at the latest. If development occurs and we get a better chance of rain, we'll come in on Monday as well. And then I promise you at some point the end of next week, there will be a DPL from Bourbon Street. And it might even be 2 a.m., but it's going to happen. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. And we will see you on the next edition of Denis Phillips Live. See you guys.
One natural disaster could change your life forever. What can you do? Turn to AARP. We help older adults and their families prepare, respond, and recover with evacuation checklists to help you remember prescriptions and other essentials, information to help you avoid scammers, connections to on-the-ground emergency responders, and lots of other tips and tools. At AARP, we're here to help. Find us at aarp.org/local.